Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale.
Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating Zero, the latest and, dare I say, greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined as always by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hello, I'm Brian, and I play Hektor the Gatekeeper.
Hi, I'm Beth, and I play Rilla Longshadow.
Hey guys, I'm Alex, and I play Ruger Firehide.
And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker. Michael Parker playing the druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Well, we're back again to tell the tale of epic fantasy. Things are getting a little weird in the depths, and we last left off with you guys just making a bunch of small, squirmy, hairy, greasy rat friends, which was, I think, fun for everybody.
Is this where we, pivot and all of a sudden Brian is our DM and we're playing Trashkin again? Is that what's going to happen?
I'm in. I'm there. Last time, I'm pretty sure I rose Parker's character from the dead and continued to use him for a while thereafter, so...
As masterful a stroke as it would be to pivot systems and DMs in the middle of an episode, I think we're going to leave those high-flying antics for maybe some bonus content down the line. Unfortunately, it's still me. It's still Dungeons & Dragons, unfortunately. But with that being said, when last we left our heroes, Hektor, Rilla, Zurabak, and Ruger Firehide enjoyed some of the creature comforts of the College of Everspring. After a lovely bath and a fine meal, our heroes were given a tour of the Hall of Whispers. This grand chamber stored within it a living history of Meotia, with rows upon rows of artifacts, artworks, and sculptures enchanted with magic mouths to tell their own stories. As Hektor drooled over the various bits of legend all around him, the rest of the party learned of a problem. It would appear that the Hall of Whispers relied heavily on jade to enchant these artifacts and keep these stories alive. According to the dwarves who mined the jade, it has all run out. This problem has become a main concern not only for Moonbeam, the archivist in the Hall of Whispers, but also for the lore masters who run the College of Everspring and the town of Everspring. Who have been pressuring the dwarves to open up old mine shafts to look for more jade. The dwarves have refused, though no one can tell why. As the party was led into the dwarven hold of Grotmire beneath the mountains to visit the Vault, the fortress in which all of the world's remaining rescued writings are kept, they were assailed by a beardless dwarf and his army of rats. This dwarf attacked the guards outside of the vault, claiming revenge for his dying quote-unquote babies. The rats he was leading in this very underwhelming assault were all showing strange signs. Bits of their tails, their feet, their faces, their hides were slowly turning into stone. So we join our heroes now on the lower levels of the grand hold of Grotmire, this enormous cylinder of open space carved out of the stone of the Everspring Mountains, standing on a wide platform before enormous stone doors that lead into the vault. Two Knights of the Order of the Quill are almost lazily fighting off a swarm of shambling and strangely clacking rats, while this very smelly and disheveled, beardless dwarf is screaming about vengeance for his babies. Captain Kurz, the half-orc scrivener of the Order of the Quill, is standing next to you, scratching his head and dumbstruck by all of this. And Rilla, it is your turn.
Can we just keep talking here? Because I don't really feel like we're under threat. Yeah.
Yeah, talking
it's a bunch of
is a
rats.
free action, and everyone can communicate freely. It's totally cool.
Okay. So, sir, what is your name? Can we start there? What's your name?
I am Whiskers, Emperor of Rats.
Of course you are.
Yep.
Okay. So your rats are turning into stone. That's fucked up. But how do you know it's these guards' fault?
It's the fault of all civilization. I am a cursed outcast, clanless, a vagabond. The rats took me in. They're my only family, and my babies have been dying. If I will lose my family, then all the world will lose their family. It sounded better in my head when I thought about it.
Did it, though?
I don't think that they, did it, them specifically, but, I'm, pissed,
I mean, that's fair. I'd be upset if my cat was turning to stone, but I don't think attacking other people is gonna fix it either. So,
Rutherford is on... Rutherford's hackles are up, and he is eyeing these rats and licking his lips greedily.
oh, honey, no, these will not do well in your stomach. Don't. You could get really sick. No. Bad kitty. I mean, you're not a bad kitty, but don't eat them. And that's all just hissing, probably.
Oh my god.
Yeah. The guards standing in front of these large stone doors leading to the vault have just now started using the butts of their halberds to just kind of push these dire rats off of them, and it looks like these poor twisted creatures have lost all of their steam, and they're now just sort of tottering around, limping on stone legs and dragging stone tails behind them. It seems like the initial charge was more than most of these rats had going for them.
Hey, Zurabak, you're an animal person. Or a person who's an animal. I don't know. Can you fix them?
Why would I do that?
Isn't that what druids do?
No. When was the last time I fixed anything?
I mean, that's a fair point.
Yep.
I guess that's what other druids do. Competent ones.
But I mean, you gotta start somewhere, right? There's gotta be somewhere.
I mean, I would if I still had my meat, Squire.
No, you wouldn't. Don't even pretend, Zurabak. No, you wouldn't.
That's fair.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, Zurabak, looking at all this, you remember that earlier today, you all actually witnessed this particular bearded dwarf get thrown out of an apothecary shop, and you, Zurabak, picked up what looked like a carving at the time, but was actually a rat that apparently, you can tell now, has been completely turned into stone.
So, what God is telling me is to pull it out and crush it in my hands?
You can do whatever you want. I was just reminding you that you have that in your pocket. Seeing the flagging energy of these rats and saying that his assault isn't really going his way, Whiskers says,
Well, this curses thwarted again. Luckily this is just one plan and a vast network of plans to get vengeance on the clans of the dwarves.
I grab him by the scruff of his shirt and lift him off the ground.
Yeah, you do this effortlessly. His feet dangle a foot off the stone, and his eyes go wide as he stares at you. His prominent buck teeth bite down on his bottom lip, and his giant mustaches quiver. As a note, this guy stinks like shit. This guy smells horrific as you're holding him, but he goes completely quiet.
I want to bend down and take a look at one of these stone rats, these rock rodents.
And I want to cast Prestidigitation on Whiskers to make him clean.
Okay,
I can
so
clean
as
a
Hector
5 foot
holds
square, right?
Yeah, that's fine. As Hector holds Whiskers above the ground, Rilla pulls upon her sorceress abilities, and you take the stink off of him. He shrieks like you just threw acid on him. No! While this dramatic scene is unfolding, Ruger, you bend down and take a look at these rats. They are looking terrible. They've actually, most of them have stopped moving. They're just kind of breathing heavy. You can tell that they are in, a lot of pain, honestly. These are very sick animals. Huge parts of them are, completely stone that seems to be, fused with their flesh. It makes their movements incredibly awkward, and it looks very painful. And a lot of them are in various stages of whatever process they're going under. Some of them, it's just a patch here and there. Some of them, half their bodies are stone, and they're, dragging them across the ground. Did you want to do something specific, checking these rats out?
I was just kind of trying to assess. I assume what's happening is magical, but I was just looking to, look a rat over, see if there was anything unique or identifying. But it sounds like you just described everything I need to know.
Well, you can roll, if you want to get some deeper, more detailed insight, you could roll, an Arcana or a Nature.
Are either of those this edition? Let's see.
Yes.
No, I'm just kidding.
Arcana is.
Yeah, Knowledge Arcana
And so
or
is
Knowledge
Nature.
I'm
Nature.
just messing with you. 12.
Okay.
God damn it. You son of a bitch. So you get a 12 on a Knowledge Nature. You have never come across an illness like this in the wild. This is like nothing you've ever seen. Riding through the freeholds and living on the trail, you've come across your fair share of animals, and you've seen a lot of sickness, but even in the Badlands, you've never seen something that turns creatures into stone like this. The pattern, there doesn't seem to be any pattern, it doesn't seem to start in one particular place. It's spotty over all of them. And, it seems like these rats are in some serious fucking pain.
Hey, Whiskers. When did this all start?
Ah, so you want my origin story?
As he starts telling this tale, a rat crawls out from underneath his collar and runs across his face and drops to the ground while Hector's holding him.
Okay, that was gross even for me. All right, listen. My babies got sick a couple weeks ago. Our midden is hidden in the stone of the mountain away from Grotmire. We were digging to expand our cave, and we broke into some chamber. My babies went in to scout it, and when they came back, some of them were sick. It spread to all the rest of them. I've been to every apothecary and every healer here in Grotmire. No one wants to help me and my babies. So I'm here to get revenge. As I said, this is but one of many fronts that Whiskers, Emperor of the Rats, is currently engaged in. My plans are myriad and sinister.
So, if we help you, will you stop trying to destroy civilization?
That sounds acceptable. The Emperor of Rats humbly accepts your fealty.
Oh no. I look over at Zurabak.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass on this one.
Yeah.
Next stop on the tour.
Yeah, Zurabak, I am interested in how you feel about another noble of the animal kingdom. Do you have any feeling or any opinion about this self-styled emperor of the rats?
Well, clearly he's a failure. Most of his people are dead.
Zurabak.
Interesting.
How are those shocker lizards doing?
Living on my heart, baby. Living on in my heart.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So, while you are holding Whiskers and engaging in this back and forth, the knights in front of the doors to the vault basically start, like, using their halberds to just kind of scoop the rats out from in front of the door. They just kind of start shoveling them aside. And the doors to the vault open. There is a thin slit in between these massive stone double doors as they swing slightly open. And you see a dwarf walk out from inside the vault. This dwarf has their beard braided elaborately in 4 large braids, 2 which they've swept 2 over each shoulder behind them. And they are wearing this elaborate leather armor that upon closer inspection you realize is made almost entirely of pockets. There are pouches and pockets covering them head to toe. And they swagger out and they look at the chaotic scene out here on the platform. Ruger bent down staring at rats, Hektor holding Whiskers, while Rilla casts spells on him, and Zurabak eating a side of beef in a wheelbarrow. And this dwarf says, "Oh, what smells like piss?"
I use my free hand to point.
"Oh, is that Whiskers? Oh, fuck. I thought I was having a bad day before. What the fuck are you doing here?" Whiskers says,
I'm getting vengeance on the 4 clans.
No, we just talked about it.
Like literally 3 seconds ago.
I'm getting help to fix my babies. I guess. This is one of many sinister plans.
This dwarf that comes... This dwarf covered in pockets says, "Oh, fuck me. This is... Ugh. I've not seen your faces before. You lot, what... Have you been roped in by this madman? What...
Nope.
What are you doing?"
Eating beef.
Yeah.
Hey, save some of that for me.
Are you gonna, like, stuff some in your pockets? Or, I mean, keep some for later? Or what's up with those?
I mean, I may. I don't see how it's any of your business. At this, Captain Kurz, next to you, says, "All right, well, this is all very weird, and I don't care for it. So maybe let's take this someplace else. Not in front of the vault I've spent my entire life defending. Can we get these rats out of here?"
Yeah, I'm not gonna do it.
Whiskers, who is still dangling from Hector's outstretched fist, says,
Army, retreat!
and these rats start, like, slowly, painstakingly dragging themselves in a
sad.
lazy... Yeah, it's very sad. They start dragging themselves and clicking and scratching down the ramp that led them up here in this amorphous mass. Just some of them like carrying the others in their mouths, just slowly inching along back the way they came. And Whisker says,
Well, I have to give you strangers credit. Your negotiation skills with nobility is bar none. As the Emperor of Rats, I hereby declare you all no longer enemies of the state, and negotiations can continue.
Well, I, for one, am relieved.
this dwarf that just came out of the vault says, all right, that's enough of that. No, Whiskers. You're lucky I don't have Captain Kerr's clapping irons right now. This has got to stop. It's disgusting and sad and pathetic. I don't care if you've got this lot wrapped up in your bullshit, all right? By the way, I suppose introductions are in order. I'm Pockets. I run the turnkeys here.
I fucking knew it. I like give Zurabak a little elbow. I say, I fucking knew it.
Zurabak growls.
Captain Kerr says, yes, the turnkeys are responsible for security around here. They're engineers. Aye, that's right. Not a door we can't open, not a trap we can't spring. But anyway, let's take this somewhere else.
Next stop on the tour.
Well, we're certainly not bringing this nasty fucker into the vault, so...
Hey.
I mean, I did just clean him.
And Zurabak is our friend, okay?
I don't want to go in there either.
Well, but I don't think you've got much choice.
We've got the warehouse just a few blocks down. Just bring that one here and let's talk away from prying eyes and ears, yeah? And Pockets lead you all a bit up this ramp away from the doors of the vault, which close immediately as soon as they walk out. And after just a minute or two of walking, you come to a much smaller, much more reasonably sized stone door that has a very elaborate looking locking mechanism on it. And you see Pockets pull out from 3 different pockets 3 different enormous keys, place them into the 3 different locking mechanisms, turn them, and the door opens, leading to a very large open space, like a room 50 feet on a side, all of course made of stone and filled with various crates and barrels. They wave you all in, and Hektor, I just assume you're hanging on to Whiskers this entire time.
Yeah.
And you all go in, and Pockets closes the door behind you. So, Whiskers, you've got your sob story out there, I'm guessing, and you've roped these poor bastards into your shite. What is all this? Whiskers says,
Well, as I was telling them, my babies are sick, and I just want to get it fixed. This was just one front in a whole campaign against the surface people and the dwarves of Grotmire. This is a complex web of plots.
Whiskers, come on now. Let's wrap it up.
So I think we need to check out this chamber. That seems like that's where the problem is. I mean, am I wrong?
No, I mean, that's absolutely correct. We are ultimately definitely gonna have to go to that chamber and fix whatever the fuck this is. My greater concern...
I'd really rather not, though.
Well, yeah, that's obvious, but you'll probably still end up doing it anyways, because you always do the right thing. Right, Rilla? And I'll say this, Pockets, you're really not at all concerned about, like, rock rats? Man, like, it's like disgusting and kind of breaks my heart, and you don't feel anything about that?
So you ask Pockets about that, and they take a minute and sort of shake their head a bit, and no, it can't be that. No, it's just some rodents got a strange bug. That's all. I'm sure it's not something we need to care about. If you all want to go gallivanting into a rat's midden, walk around in all the shite and piss, that's up to you, but
As somebody who is a fan of the stories of the bards, I would like to point your attention to the concept of dramatic irony. Whatever you think it possibly cannot be, must be the true answer. Out with it.
well, if this is what I think it is, you've wandered across one of the most closely guarded secrets of the dwarven people on your second day in town. There's an old story about sickness that assailed the dwarves long ago, called rock joint. It looks a lot like what's happening to these rats, but it can't be that. If it's that, then we're in quite a bit of trouble.
Well, I do hate to break it to you, buddy, but even before the rat problem, we're in a lot of trouble.
Pockets turns to Whiskers and says, "All right, you daft bastard. You said this was a grand, sinister plot. What else did you have in mind besides throwing rats against a stone wall?" Whiskers looks defiant and like smug and says,
Well, I knew that no one cared about my babies, so I took out some insurances that would make sure that everyone else had to care about the plight of my precious rats. I took one of my rats and I may have placed them in the royal still of the Iron Eye clan. See if we can't spread this infernal infection across all the dwarven holds.
When Whiskers says this, Pockets goes apeshit. What the fuck did you just say? You crazy son of a bitch! Pockets like runs across the room and grabs Whiskers out of your hands, Hector, and starts like strangling him. Just really going to town. You've killed us all! You've killed every one of us! What do you guys do?
I try and break that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you killed us all! Hit him in the face! That's what Rilla's doing. Zurabak, give me some meat!
Get your own meat.
So while Rilla cheers this on, yeah, Hector and Ruger, you pull these two apart. Whiskers is coughing and hacking, and Pockets looks absolutely ashen-faced. Like, all right, well, okay, well, all right. I suppose I'll have to tell you lot the whole story then. If this bag of rat piss has infected the royal stills, this sickness could reach every dwarf in Grotmire. The Iron Eye clan makes the finest dwarven spirits we have. Firewater. It's drank by nearly everyone down here, and even some people on the surface. If it's infected, everyone's at risk. Rock Joint, when we first found it, nearly destroyed all of Grotmire. There was a mine, shaft number 10. It was full of jade, and we mined it deep. The miners there found a small underground lake. They used it to drink from while they were mining. Everyone that drank from that water, they got sick. They started turning to stone, bit by bit, from the inside out or the outside in. For the longest time, we didn't know what caused it. And we never figured out how to fix it. None of our ancestral cures worked, and our finest healers could not fix it. We studied it. We ran tests. We gathered as much data as we could as it spread rampant through all of Grotmire. Legend has it that our finest healers were close to finding an answer. And then the glyph purge struck. All the notes, all the data, all the information we had, gone in an instant. The research ground to a halt, and the sickness spread quicker than we could manage. So the Shogun, back then, sealed every sick man, woman, and child, all of their families, all of their closest friends, in shaft number 10. And sealed it. They thought it was the only way to save all of Grotmire. If this sack of piss built his little cave next to shaft number 10, if his rats got in there and let the sickness out, if he infected the spirits that we all drank, you've doomed all 4 clans. You've doomed Grotmire. You've potentially doomed the surface. You've all not been here that long. Have any of you had firewater?
Fuck, probably. Knowing me.
Definitely not.
I don't know. We went to that crooked stool, and
I drank nothing but wine, so I'm good.
Yeah, so you all remember that when you guys went to the Crooked Stool Inn, Rilla had a glass of wine. Ruger, you had some beer and some whiskey. Hektor and Zurabak both had firewater.
Yeah,
Sweet.
that's true.
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling okay.
Honestly, if there's 2 people in the party most capable of standing up to a disease, we're the 2 that you want to have to make those fortitude saves.
It should also be mentioned, though, that, like, how many of us have eaten off of Zurabak's meat? And, I don't know.
It's funny, Hektor, as that thought goes through your head that, well, me and Zurabak can drink firewater, but we're the hardiest of the group. You also remember that while Zurabak drank some firewater, and seemed to be completely unaffected. You got incredibly drunk almost instantaneously because you failed a fortitude saving throw. And as that lingering thought makes itself more and more apparent in your brain, you feel a strange tightness in your chest. You look down, and under the deep V of your tunic, there is about a coin-sized patch of stone on the flesh of your chest.
Deep V.
That's concerning.
Do you tell the rest of your party members about this? No one else seems to have spotted it yet.
Hey, did you roll our spot checks?
Yeah. What's my passive perception?
Hey, I'm the dungeon master. Shut up.
Do I do the zombie movie move where I cover the wound?
Do you?
I desperately want to know.
You guys remember when I got really drunk earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That might have contributed to the nudity now that I think about it.
Zurabak and I had fire water. And this happened. And I point to the spot on my chest.
Yeah, so Hector pulls aside part of the deep V of his tunic, and you all see a coin-sized circular splotch of stone on his skin.
Fuck.
Yeah, that ain't good.
How about you, Zurabak? You got any on you?
I'm not giving you any more meat.
Trust me, buddy, I definitely do not want any more of that meat. For honestly, a couple of reasons. Like, I don't know.
Zurabak, you don't feel any tightness or weirdness, and just meta. You do not seem to have succumbed to this sickness as Hector has. You show this patch of stone on your chest, Hector, and once again Pockets goes nuts and tries to throw themselves at Whiskers, just cursing up a goddamn storm. And
stop it.
Whiskers says, yeah. Yeah. You hold a hand up and keep Pockets from throwing themselves forward. And Whiskers says,
Aha! So my master plan has started to work. You see, there's plots within plots. I'm really sorry about that, by the way. I didn't think anyone was going to actually help me, so my bad about that. That's not going to be good. That's going to spread pretty quick. You're going to want to try to fix that, I guess, pretty soon. Oh man, I may have gone a little too far with this one now that I think about it.
You fucking think?
I didn't think you guys were gonna be cool. I didn't know you were gonna be cool. I thought,
Have you seen his top hat?
I punch Whiskers in the face.
yeah, you punch him real hard in the face, and he mercifully is knocked the fuck out. You deliver this devastating haymaker. His head snaps to the side. He goes spinning like a top and slams into a pile of crates, which he half knocks over and lays there like a sack of potatoes, completely out cold.
I go, like, I don't know, make sure he's okay. I make sure he's not a crumpled mess on the ground amongst some boxes. Prop up his head.
Yeah, he's still breathing. Okay. He seems to be alive, but knocked the fuck out. So seeing this,
where is Shaft 10?
in response to your query, Pockets says, I can take you there. It's not open. We caved it in nearly 1,000 years ago. No one goes there anymore. If you want to get in, it sounds like you'll have to find that sack of piss wherever he and his rats hole up. Sounds like he burrowed into it on accident. You'll have to find wherever he's been shacking up and follow the path to the shaft. But it's gonna be bad in there. There's nearly 100 people that we locked away in that mine. We don't know what happened to them. It's assumed they're all dead, but it's not gonna be good. Old mines have a bad habit of attracting nasty creatures that live in the mountains. Narrativa knows what lives in there now. But we need to find a cure for this as soon as we can.
Are any of his
if there's
rats
any
still around?
What's up?
Are any of his rats still around?
Yeah, one rat with one stone leg crawls out of one of his pockets while Ruger's like checking his pulse.
I look at him and give him the wild empathy.
There you go.
You couldn't see me doing that, but I was shaking my fists as I did it.
Yeah, there you go.
I somehow did see that in my mind's eye. Like, I don't know why. I just...
roll a wild empathy check, please.
Alright, rolled an 18 plus druid level in charisma? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 18 plus 7.
Cool. 25. That is very, very good. You use your powerful druidic abilities to communicate non-verbally with this rat, and it very quickly warms to you, recognizes your dominance, and scurries over to where you're standing, looking at Snake, horrified.
I say to the rat, I am your king now. Take me to your home.
The rat squeaks and turns, and dragging one of its stone limbs, it starts to make its way towards the door of this warehouse that you guys are in. Captain Kurz, who has been looking at all this go down with like just both hands on the side of his gorgeous half-orc face, just sort of like slowly shaking his head back and forth, says, well, this is all the worst thing ever. This sucks. All of this really sucks. I'm gonna go ring the alarm that there's a horrible virulent disease that might impact all of Grotmire and Topside. So I'm gonna go do that.
Rilla raises her hand like a lot. Hey, hi. So, how long does Hektor have before he's, like, made of stone? Do we know?
Pocket says, I have no idea. This disease, this sickness, this curse, whatever it is, it was around 1,000 years ago. When the glyph purge happened, that's when they rounded everyone up and closed the shaft. I've no idea how long he has or what will happen. I know eventually this rather robust barbarian will be a statue. But I do not know how long you have.
Cool. Okay. So we're just gonna assume time is of the essence, right?
Yeah, I'd say so. It's not just Hektor, I mean, how many thousands of dwarves, tens of thousands? God damn it, like, we haven't even slept yet, like, oh my god.
Yeah, so Captain Kurz, upon hearing you say that, Ruger, rushes out the door, throwing the door to this warehouse open, and like not 30 seconds after he's out of there, you hear the sonorous ringing of a gong being struck loudly, and Captain Kurz's powerful voice screams, "The firewater is poison! Don't drink the firewater! The firewater is poison!" And smashing this gigantic gong, and this call is echoed up to the next level up in this gigantic dwarven hold you're in, and you hear another gong crash, and another one going up and up and up to the higher reaches of Grotmire, and this call goes out to everyone as a bunch of other like town guards start shouting off this warning. Yeah, you guys are in this warehouse. You have a rat to lead you to this rat midden that Whiskers apparently calls home, that will lead you into this shaft. What do you all do?
So you would have to be thousands of years old to know anything about this disease.
All we have is the stories. It's nearly a legend at this point. We don't like to talk about it. It's a massive failure of our intellect, of our ingenuity, of our courage.
Hey, how old is not Sebastian?
Yeah, that's immediately where I...
Yeah.
Sebastian...
I mean, they threw these people in the vault when he caused the glyph purge.
The creature masquerading in the flesh of Sebastian Weaver has definitely been alive since before the glyph purge, since he caused it. If there is any creature anywhere around you could put hands on that would have been alive before the glyph purge happened, and thus been alive before this mine shaft was sealed, it would be Anthony Geist, aka the Stricken, aka not Sebastian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking we gotta do something here with the Emperor. And based on what he's done, I honestly feel like he might at least temporarily deserve a cell. He kept talking about a lot of plots, and I wasn't taking him seriously, but now I'm a little concerned.
No, yes, this man definitely should be arrested. I don't think there's any disputing that fact.
Pockets is already pulling out like 10 feet of chain and like 3 sets of manacles, and is already like clapping Whiskers in a surprisingly elaborate set of irons that Pockets is just pulling out of various pockets all over their person.
I go check out these fucking manacles.
They're gleaming, shining metal, and the locking mechanisms are the most elaborate thing you've ever seen. This is like 5 steps above any like wrought iron manacles that you've ever used or come across.
By the gods, friend, this is some impressive craftsmanship.
You're not gonna name like, that's a Beazle 5.7? Whoa! Come on, man. Those just came out. Not even on the market yet.
You know, I'm something of a chocolate enthusiast myself, and I couldn't help but notice. When you want a job done right, you use the best quality products you have. And the Pocket's 5,000 series of shackles. You cannot do better than that, friend. Yeah, this rat bastard is going in a cell.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, we're all in agreement on that front. And I think we're all in agreement that this is probably coming from that shaft and that we may or may not have to go there. But, Hektor, you brought up a friend. Shall we consider that option?
I think if anybody is going to have any useful information about this, it's him.
Question
That
2,
being said,
how infectious are you right now?
there is that.
I'm
Like
not
we
sure.
maybe we go ask and you stay here till we come back.
Yes, me and Zurabak and that rat that's bowing to him will stand right here and do nothing. And you guys go
Zurabak's
do
already
that.
Left.
Nah. I'm thinking that this problem is bigger than, and no offense, buddy, but bigger than Hektor's individual condition, and that if left unchecked, there's probably concern for all of us. So, I think we need to go see Antony.
The thing is,
I think we need to go into this fucking mine.
the thing is this mine is the source, it seems, of the infection. If we can't find a cure, then we just have to save as many people as possible.
I mean, the problem
If
is-
anyone goes into that mine, it should be somebody who's already infected.
I'm fine with going into the mine as a group. I just don't know if we should like walk an infected person through town first to gather info. Like, I'm just asking you to genuinely wait.
but like, it's
little
also
bit.
reasonable to assume that like half of the town is infected. I mean, dwarves and fire whiskey, you know.
I guess I just feel like the knowledge, like the fact that it'd be like if you knew you had COVID and you're like, fuck it, everyone's got it, and you walked through the middle of town, versus not knowing. Like, I don't know, it's a weird feel. That's all.
Sure.
Maybe that's just a personal feeling. Like, I mean, we know for sure he's infected.
Yeah.
We don't know
Yeah,
I mean,
about
I
other people.
I won't go talk to Antony.
But also, like, not a wink, nudge, nudge, you're actually gonna go quest. Like, we'll come back for you. We just need however long it takes to talk to Antony and get back. Like, an hour, maybe? And then we can all go together?
Well, I mean, I should mention that just because we're honorary bards doesn't necessarily mean we have immediate access to him.
Right.
I mean, we did turn him over.
Go see about talking to Antony. I will wait here abouts.
As long as you have the leader of the turnkeys with you, you'll get to talk to whoever you wish. Let's get this show on the road, shall we?
Following your lead, Pockets.
Pockets throws Whiskers over their shoulder, and they start walking to the prison. So I don't know if anyone else heard this, because you guys were doing a lot of talking about like
Zurabak
ethical
left?
transport. Yeah, Zurabak's gone.
Yeah,
Zurabak
I was
already
going to say,
left.
the moment that everybody leaves, Hektor is going to try and catch up to Zurabak. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rilla and Ruger, you guys head out to the prison.
Great.
Following Pockets. And Hektor waits a couple minutes and then leaves and follows the trail of meat grease that Zurabak is leaving with his wheelbarrow as they head to the Rat's Midden. Splitting the party,
God, there's
fantastic.
so much meat grease in that wheelbarrow.
That wheelbarrow is half meat grease. You took a side of
I
beef
didn't
off
even
the spit.
think of that.
It's greasy as fuck.
It's like congealed now. Ugh.
So much grease. It's sweating. It's bad. So yeah. Zurabak takes off, following the rat that he beguiled with his druidic abilities towards its home. Hektor follows after. They soon fall into stride and follow the rat to the midden. Ruger and Rilla, you are following Pockets, the leader of the Turnkeys, the engineering guild here in Grotmire, as they travel to the prison. They jostle Whiskers violently over their shoulder as they make their way through the city streets, and you see a flurry of activity going through Grotmire as you guys head to the jail. There are some knights from the Order of the Quill and a lot of dwarven town guards with their red lacquered armor running to and fro, shouting as loud as they can, "Don't drink the firewater." People are running into inns and taverns and like smashing bottles of firewater on the ground. They're dumping them into the streets. Like it's like an old like prohibition reel. Like people are just dumping barrels of this shit as quick as they can. There's a bit of a panic going on, in sharp contrast to the bustling and severe-looking dwarven people that you saw when you first got here 5 hours ago.
We bring out the best in people.
You sure do. Every time you show up, someone's in just a whole town's in dire peril. After a bit of walking, you all get to the prison. There is a large tunnel cut into the stone on one of the many levels of Grotmire, this large dwarven hold. There is a guardhouse in front of this stone tunnel, and a bunch of dwarven guards, these ones in black lacquered armor, stand at attention at the entrance of this large tunnel leading into absolute pitch black darkness. They look you all over as you approach, and Pocket says, "All hail the Shogun. I'm here with a prisoner, and these two need to speak to one you've already got in here. Will you let us pass?" The guards nod curtly and move right out of the way, and you all are free to walk in. You see a... well, actually, you don't see shit, because it's pitch black in here.
I was just about to ask
able
about
to
that.
navigate. Yeah, Pocket's able to navigate this space perfectly fine, able to see in the dark, as all dwarves can. What do you do for light?
I cast dancing lights.
Ooh, 4 glowing orbs of light erupt from your palm and radiate around you, showing a vast chamber cut into the stone. You're looking at what's kind of like just a very wide hallway. You go down this tunnel for about 50 feet, past a series of metal gates cunningly installed in the stone here. Each one with a couple guards flanking it who let you in past all of them. And it opens up into a very wide, like 80-foot hallway with a series of stone depths, with a series of stone steps leading down in a soaring ceiling beyond even your ability to see. And the walls on either side of you in this long hallway are just lined with cells. You see bars for cells carved into the stone walls of either side of this long hallway, floor to ceiling, with small sort of scaffolding, like metal walkways, connecting all of them all the way to the floor. As you get into this broad sort of common area between these two walls full of cells, your dancing lights play off of the bars, throwing strange shadows over countless faces of very surly-looking dwarves. You notice even in this prison, all these dwarves have beards. Some of them glare at you. Some of them just glumly look over, barely registering your presence. And Pockets passes off Whiskers to one of these prison guards in this black lacquered armor, who takes them away and throws them into a cell while they are still unconscious, no questions asked. Pocket says, "All right, well, that's done. Who's this friend you need to talk to?" And just as Pockets asks that, you hear echoing from far down the length of this long chamber, past even the glow of your dancing lights. "When the light begins to fade and all that's left is doubt and dread, when the water starts to rise and waves come crashing o'er your head, when you feel you lack the strength to keep the demons all at bay, hum this little melody, look to the skies and say this ain't the end." You hear that little tune echoing down the halls.
Sigh.
That's a good reaction.
You sigh deeply and follow the sound of the singing. And eventually, you walk up a couple of these iron staircases that are fitted into this giant wall of cells stacked on top of each other. And you come to a cell that is flanked, surprisingly, not by dwarves in black lacquered armor, but by Helga and Olga, who each stand on either side of the cell door that the singing is coming from, with their arms crossed, looking fierce as fuck. Olga says, "So, you finally came to visit. Is this a special occasion? Do we get to rough him up, pull him out of the cell, maybe work him over a little bit? What do you need?"
So Hektor is sick with a disease that's from like 1,000 years ago. And we need info from like 1,000-year-old creature. Wonder where we could find one of those.
The thing wearing Sebastian's skin perks up at you saying that, and they dramatically sweep forward from the dark shadows at the far corner of their cell and walk swiftly up to the bars, their wide blue eyes gleaming in the lights from your spell, and they look up at you with a very concerned look on their face. "Hektor's sick? That's not good. It has to be pretty bad if you came all the way down here to ask me about it. What's this about 1,000-year-old illness?
He's turning to stone, we think. Does that ring any bells?
We think.
They called it rock joint.
Rock joint. And the thing wearing Sebastian's skin takes a step back and strokes their chin. Seemingly lost in thought. Turning to stone. Well, could be a lot of things. Cockatrice. Gorgon. Though, if Inga's cards are to be believed, I have another theory. I have to say, I don't think I've ever heard of rock joint, but what are the symptoms? And not Sebastian gets this really creepily eager look in his eye and leans forward, pressing his face against the bars.
I just shift uncomfortably.
Yeah, picture Silence of the Lambs. This is Clarice and Hannibal Lecter.
And I feel like I've probably interrogated people before, but even still, I'm just oh, fucking icky. Oh, God.
Yeah, he's way too into it. He's way too into it.
Well, Anthony, it's, appears to be a spreading affliction of stone that, I guess, eventually completely encases the creature. Started with rats. Half of them are full stone or half stone or dragon stone legs, and some fucking idiot put one of those stone rats in the, town supplies, as it were, namely the booze, and now probably half the fucking town's afflicted. So, not fucking great is an understatement.
I mean, as for symptoms, we know that it affected Hektor the same day that he drank some tainted liquor. Right? It took only, I don't know how long we've been here, half a day, maybe, for him to start having skin that is stony. Like he has a coin-sized stony spot on his belly.
Interesting. A slow creeping petrification spread through the imbibing of liquids. Oh no. Oh, that crazy bitch. She really did it. Huh. I tell you what. I think I can help you fix this. I think I know what this is. But boy, if I could just stretch my legs a bit, I promise I'll be a good boy.
Oh, buddy, you almost had me. I'm usually a forgiving soul, but I really want to punch you in the fucking throat right now. So, fuck. And I kind of walk away for just a second to... Yeah.
I love that I can do that. That arrow is in my quiver for the rest of the campaign.
Well, Anthony, we would certainly appreciate your help, but I'll speak candidly when I say that I'm not sure I have the authority to take you gallivanting around the campus. I'm willing to talk to the bards and see what allowances they might make, but I myself am not gonna take you for a fucking stroll.
Yeah, Helga and Olga both look at each other as they stand on either side of Sebastian's cell, not Sebastian's cell. And Olga says, "Yeah, I don't think that's going to fucking happen, you creep. Don't get any fucking ideas. Just tell them what they want to know, or maybe we forget to let the guards feed you again."
Well, no, Jack, fucking feed him. I mean, come on. God damn it.
He's the stricken. Let us do this, okay? We don't go to the freeholds and tell you how to rustle cattle or whatever the fuck you do.
Well,
okay?
now I'm offended, so...
Not Sebastian sighs and says, "None of you are any fun. This was so much more fun before you knew who I really was. Fine, look, there's... I used to hang out with some pretty bad people back when I was constructing the arcane tools and glyphs needed to break into the divine realm. I went to some dark places. I met some very bad people. One of these people was a very, very greedy Medusa. She had some plan to take over an entire dwarven hold without having to lift a finger. Something about infecting the water supply. It sounds like her work. I don't know where she is or how she could have done this, if she's even still alive, but I think this illness might be her work. Unless I can frolic, I don't know how much more help I can be. If she's around, you could ask her how to fix it.
And if she's not around, do you have any ideas?
I'd have to see the source.
Yeah, about that. Alright. So, Medusa, poisoning the supply, everybody's turning to stone, you're still a fucking dick. I mean, this is... Yep, so far I'm following all this plot. Well, Rilla, what do you think?
I mean, I'd really prefer it if Hektor didn't turn into a statue. I mean, that's mostly where I'm at, so...
Well, silver linings as they are, at least he's got the figure for it. I mean, the guy is built to be a fucking statue, okay?
True. I mean, also, he's not, as we pointed out, he's not our prisoner, so we can't broker a deal where we let him, like, visit a pub or whatever the fuck he's wanting to do.
I mean, we'll talk to him.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk to him. I mean, look, Rilla, if we're dead set on trying to work against this here glyph purge, then we may need to have a working relationship with whatever that thing is in there. So, I'm willing to talk to these here bards if we can stop Hektor and the rest of this fucking town from turning into statues.
You hear from down the stairs on the main level, Pockets yell up, "The bards can eat shite for all I care. If that bastard has some sort of answer to save all of Grotmire, I'll spring him a damn self. Are we going or what?"
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I'm out of here. Yeah, see you later, Anthony. Damn it, that sounded cooler in my head.
Bye, not Sebastian. And I blow like a bunch of kisses for no reason. I don't know.
See, now
Why
I'm
not?
just confused. I don't think.
Is that what we're doing now?
I don't. Rilla, let's just not tell Zurabak and Hektor about this part of it. Like, we were just super cool the whole way through, right?
So Ruger, you say see you later, Anthony, and walk off. Rilla, you sarcastically blow kisses at him.
Yes.
And Anthony Geist, the stricken in the skin of Sebastian Weaver, very creepily, very slowly reaches a hand up and grabs one of the kisses you blow to him, holds it to his chest, and slowly walks backwards into the shadows of the back of his cell and starts to sing, "When the light begins to fade, and all that's left is doubt and dread, when the water starts to rise and waves come crashing over your head." And that song trails after you as you all leave the stricken in his jail cell with a little more information and head back out to, the hold proper. Hektor and Zurabak, you guys are following a rat. It's a very slow rat. One of its legs is made of stone, and it is dragging that stone leg as it tries to scamper and skimper across the stone of Grotmire. Where Ruger and Rilla and Pockets headed up on this spiraling platform that's basically a road connecting all of the levels of Grotmire, you two are going down. There are fewer and fewer people, fewer and fewer buildings carved into the stone of the mountain, and eventually you get into what seems to be unfinished architecture. It seems like the elaborately carved shops, homes, buildings sort of peter out, and you get more and more patches of rough and unworked stone. This broad, spiraling road clinging to the side of this enormous hold still goes downward and is very easily passable, but there is just less and less actual buildings. At a few points you see giant open tunnels boring into the stone of the mountain that have clusters of workmen busily hauling stones of various shapes, sizes, colors, and consistencies in very large mine carts. You see dwarves wielding pickaxes and shovels. There is a general toil of activity as you come to what you soon realize are the entrances to many mines. You pass by several until the rat finally scurries off this main road into a 3-foot wide crack in the stone of the mountain on the side of this road. It's a very tall crack, looks almost like a chimney, but it's only like 3 feet wide, and the rat scurries inside of it. What do you do?
I shrug, turn sideways, and start trying to squeeze myself into the crack.
Zurabak?
I guess I just squeeze on through.
Okay.
Whew. Squeeze bros.
You gotta leave the wheelbarrow behind. The wheelbarrow's too wide.
I still drag the meat along.
Okay, yeah. You pull the side of beef. That's now, let's be honest, it's half gone. So you pull half a side of beef and a bunch of bare rib bones out of the dripping grease of the wheelbarrow. And as you turn sideways to squeeze into this crack in the stone, you drag this side of beef after you, leaving just a lovely glistening trail of grease for your companions to follow, completely on accident, but very conveniently for the dungeon master of this campaign. You guys head into this crack. It gets even tighter, narrowing down to like 2 feet wide, then 1 foot wide. You get pretty claustrophobic as you try to force your way through. Hektor, the fabric of your shirt scratches against the stone, and then your chest, the skin of your chest starts to scratch against the stone, and that little circle of rock on your chest, now replacing some of your skin, scrapes in this very uncomfortable and really disconcerting like friction of stone on stone as you try to slide your way through here. And eventually you all, after squeezing for a couple minutes, finally come out into a large chamber that reeks of piss. Just absolutely reeks of rat piss. It is a horrific ammonia stank that covers every inch of everything and assails your nostrils, and you find yourselves in like a 15-foot wide circular chamber, roughly carved out of stone, that is full of detritus. There are twigs and branches from the surface. There are bits of pots and pans. There are just garbage, like a couple animal bones, just a big pile of trash littering everywhere, and it's all sort of crystallized into this gigantic, horrible mass of just horrible, sour-smelling crust that's just lining everything. You see some of this garbage has been piled up and crystallized into what looks like is probably a throne. There is a very dented old cook pot, the bottom of which has been cut away and shaped into a shitty crown hanging off the corner of this throne made of garbage in the corner. And there's just a shit ton of rats swarming over everything. There are 5 entire swarms of rats. There's hundreds of these fucking things. You think there's like a carpet at first, but they part as you make your way in, and they are everywhere. You see at the very back of this chamber, there is a small tunnel. It's ground level. It's like 3 feet tall, that leads off of this chamber deeper into the stone. There are a couple of rats swarming back and forth into this nasty little side tunnel, and you quickly see that all of the rats in here are sick with this rock joint. They are all twisted little statues. There's like a pile of just totally petrified stone rats like in the corner off to the side, like a pretty sizable pile of them. These rats do not seem very happy that you're here. They all turn and stare at you and bare their teeth as you all enter. What do?
I throw down the meat. I'm your new king now. I'm gonna fix you and him.
These rats immediately swarm all over this side of beef, and God damn it, Zurabak! I hate it when you play with my emotions like this. I thought I didn't get you with this hook. I thought you honestly didn't give a shit, but you gave me emotional whiplash because you gave me the payoff I was hoping for, and yes, you are now Emperor of the Rats. You have deposed the former Emperor, and you've brought the glories of meat. Let's see how long your reign lasts.
As they swarm over the beef, I walk over and I pick up the crown, and I stand next to the throne and wait for Zurabak.
I'm not touching that thing. I don't know where it's been.
But Zurabak, it's cool.
Yeah, no, you're also kind of turning to stone. We should fix that.
Yeah.
So you guys hang out in this chamber as these rats swarm over the beef. Do you wait for your companions to join you there?
Probably not.
Okay. So do you guys jump in that terrible 3-foot tunnel with rats swarming all through it?
I want to just investigate this area a little bit more thoroughly.
Sure. Roll me a search check.
Nine.
You find a bunch of garbage. You search around this chamber full of trash and see mostly junk and garbage that is all sort of encrusted in age-old rat piss. But as all of these rats swarm over the side of Beef and stop blanketing the entire floor of this cave and sort of converge on one point, you are able to make out something. There is a hole-riddled and very soiled knapsack laying on the floor of this cave next to the pile of stone, completely petrified rats.
I look inside the knapsack.
You see a bunch of what looks like alchemy supplies. It looks like this knapsack holds all of the cures and salves that Whiskers was attempting to use to get his babies healthy. There's some empty vials. There's some tins full of the remnants, like a couple globs of some salves. You see a couple of leaves with some tinctures wrapped up inside of them in neat little packets. And you also see 4 bottles full of a red liquid, each neatly stoppered with cork.
Zurabak?
I'm gonna miss you, meat.
Can you do anything with this stuff? Do you know what any of this stuff is?
You should probably drink it. What's the worst that could happen? You turn more into stone?
You know, a fair point has been raised, and I drink one of the vials of red liquid.
Oh, devil may care. Love it. Let's say for your benefit, you sip one of these vials of liquid.
That's
and you
fair.
You feel a warmth inside of you, and some of the scrapes on your chest that you got from squeezing through that crack in the stone heal up. There's no longer the scuffs on your chest. Your nipples are no longer chafed from that stone that you squeezed past. It looks like you have found 4 potions of cure light wounds.
Also, you probably shouldn't go around just drinking random things. Even if Zurabak says it's probably okay. I wouldn't listen to Zurabak.
Especially wouldn't listen to Zurabak.
I'm turning to stone. Nothing matters anymore.
Oh.
Somebody get me some meth.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's the fucking old folks home plan, right? Once I'm 70 years old, just give me all the shit. It doesn't matter anymore.
Wow.
Where's the special K? Anyway. So, as the rats devour the side of Beef and Hektor inspects the room and finds these potions, Rilla and Ruger, you guys follow a nasty trail of grease.
Yep.
You actually slide down it a little bit.
How many commoners are gonna slip on that?
Yeah, there's a couple miners on their ass next to it. But given the downward slope of this spiral ramp and this broad swath of grease, you guys could just surf all the way down it.
Definitely surf. I also make a terrible joke. I'm like, hey, Rilla, you want a drink? I hear they're just practically giving the fire whiskey away.
Wow.
He says that every time they pass a fallen dwarf.
Yeah, look at that guy. He's got it. He's definitely at least quarter rock by now. This is fucking awful.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. So Rilla and Ruger, you guys make your way pretty quickly down following this trail of grease. You get to this crack of stone past several of these mine shafts and these more unfinished halls. And you follow it, and you see the same thing I just described to Hektor and Zurabak. There is a horrific 15-foot wide chamber with a pile of beef quickly being devoured by stone rats, and there is a... everything reeks of piss. There's a weird little throne on the side, a pile of petrified rats in the corner, and Hektor and Zurabak are standing there. Hector's holding 4 red vials of liquid. There is a tunnel in the side of this passage. What do you all do?
What did he have to say?
A lot of fucking bullshit, that's what. But also, he said it was probably a Medusa. Which, honestly, I don't know. Now, he did mention one other thing, and I'm curious, but he made some offhanded comment about Inga and her cards. Anyone of you got any insight into how her cards might be connected to this here event?
I mean, mine said I was gonna fight an undead lich thing, I think. Or death itself, who knows?
I do not care. Are we going in the hole?
Have we ever made a decision for you, Zurabak? Don't you just go wherever?
My card was the Uriel? Urali?
Mm-hmm.
And that basically is a Medusa. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's one of Medusa's sisters from Greek mythology. One of the other Gorgons. That's what Urali is.
Yep. Also, I don't know if you remember, but the card you drew was also the 10 of Swords. And you are going into shaft number 10.
I hate it.
It's all...
Hektor does not put that together.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why I did, because I needed someone to register that. I'm trying to foreshadow, and listeners, it's 10. Get it? Okay.
But when Ruger says something about the cards and what that could possibly mean, Hektor looks over at the throne in this room and thinks about Zurabak's card.
Yeah, that's a red herring. So,
Or is
you're standing in this chamber. You have found 4 potions of Cure Light Wounds. The shaft that Whiskers and his rats have dug into mine shaft number 10 is before you. What do you all do?
I think,
therefore you are?
based on the cards, it's time for me to meet my destiny.
And that is where we'll end. Hello and welcome to As the Dice Turns, a podcast after the podcast where we take a deep dive into our player characters' psychology, their motivations, their characterizations, and try to get a better understanding of them as people. In this segment, we'd like to ask each of our player characters a question and see if it unlocks some previously unknown aspect of their personality. Today's question is another just real light fare. If you could go back and change one decision you've made, what would it be? That is a question we have for our characters today. So let us start with Zurabak. We'll get this out of the way. Zurabak, I see you're eating, what is that, the third Roomba that we've gone through? Is that the third or fourth Roomba, Zurabak?
Sixth.
Sixth?
This one's challenged me.
Sharon, can we get... Who's requisitioning these Roombas? Wow. I'm surprised you can keep them down. There's a lot of sharp parts on those. Zurabak.
They thought I was weak.
Your gums are bleeding profusely. You know what? Let's just get through this. Boy, Zurabak, if you could go back in any time in your life and change one decision, what would it be?
That's a dumb question.
You are absolutely entitled to that opinion. Can I ask you why you think so?
Why would Zurabak want to change anything?
Is this another aspect of your philosophy where you are a perfect engine of destruction that will eventually bring darkness upon all the world, and therefore nothing you have done or will do is wrong?
That sounds pretty good, yeah.
Okay, all right. Another chapter in the saga of the dread god Zurabak. Yeah.
Dread god Zurabak.
Sharon, how's that bomb shelter coming? It needs to be deeper, probably. And we need more Roombas. Fuck, we need more Roombas.
Do you really? They'll all die to Dread god Zurabak.
All right, Zurabak, thank you for coming by the studio. Always a pleasure. Let's move on. Rilla Longshadow. Pleasure to have you in our beautiful, clean, air-conditioned studio. Watch the Roomba bits. I'm gonna buy another Roomba to clean up those Roomba bits. Pay those no mind. How are you today?
You know, I'm fine. A little curious as to what this Roomba is.
It's the little robots. I guess you call them constructs that are keeping the floor clean. I think Zurabak's just been eating a lot of them, but yeah, they're very handy little constructs that just tidy up the place. Trying to keep this one from turning into a dread swamp.
How's that going?
Pretty good so far. Pretty good. I haven't seen any creeping vines or mosquitoes the size of a man's fist, so pretty good so far. The sponsors are really giving us a lot of money to keep this place clean. Still haven't got any ad copy from them. I'm sure that's coming at some point. Anyway, forgive me. Thanks for coming by. The question for today, Rilla Longshadow, is if you could go back and change any decision you've made in your life, what would it be?
That's a really tough question.
That's what we're known for here on As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast where we take a deep dive into our player characters, psychology, characterizations, motivations, and trends.
So, I think the real answer is probably I wouldn't leave Dara behind when I left the village. I think that's the real answer.
Interesting.
Because I'm pretty worried about what might be happening to her, and at the time it seemed smart to leave her behind, where she could be normal and safe, but I kind of think she's probably not safe at all. So I'm kind of really regretting leaving her behind where I couldn't keep an eye on her. You know, she's my little sister, so yeah, just a lot of worry there. Yeah. I was trying to think, yeah, I mean, if there was a way for me to stop my parents from being killed, I'd pick that, but I don't know that, like, toddler, small child me could have done anything about it, you know? Like,
Sure. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's certainly a difficult decision. I mean, you were recruited by the thing that called itself Sebastian Weaver to go on this epic quest, a chance for you to leave your home, search for your Aunt Arafin, and I'm sure you had no idea at the time what sort of environments you would run into. I'm sure you also didn't know that your elders were planning to drain all of your blood to fix the veil. It is an interesting question. Would Dara have been safer with you all traveling through the Briar Marsh, the High Pass, and the Gate, going through the Badlands? Would that have been safer than where she is now? That's an interesting answer, and definitely worth thinking about. Do you think Dara would have done well traveling with your little menagerie over the road?
I think she would have done better than me. And I think I could have made her safe. But I really thought she'd be better off.
In the background, you just hear Zurabak shout, "Dread God Zurabak rules all."
Well, I think that's very interesting. Why, if I may, why do you think she would have done better than you?
She's got better social skills. She's more normal. She would have made friends easily. You know, she could hunt. She's like a normal elf. Kind of a brat,
Gotcha.
but a normal elf. She would have been just fine.
Not a sarcastic prankster that hates the attention of every living thing on the planet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is a very good answer. Very, very interesting stuff. I appreciate your candor as always, Rilla Longshadow. Thank you very much for coming out, and let's keep your sister in mind for the future. I'm sure she's fine. I have no evidence to suggest that whatsoever, but I'm sure she's fine. I'm sure.
That makes one of us.
Well, thanks for coming out. Have a great day. Thank you. Next up, we've got Hektor. Hektor, the gatekeeper, keeper of the gates.
Hello.
Pleasure to have you in the studio as always. Thanks for stopping by. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? You look good. The thing has been clearing up from ever since you spent, weeks at the bottom of the cave. What do you call the thing that you had? The emaciation. That's clearing up.
I have Sharon has really been fattening me up. Lots of cookies, lots of brownies. She's a very good cook, our Sharon, and I've been filling out a little bit. I appreciate you noticing. I've actually gone up 2 pant sizes, which is great. I did it in about 2 days, so I don't know if that's the healthiest thing. But Sharon keeps feeding me, and I'm too scared to say no. So anyway, Hektor, the gatekeeper, keeper of the gates. The question for today is, if you could go back and change one decision in your life, what would that be?
Varix would be dead.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. What decision do you think you made that allowed him to live? Would you have not... Are you saying that you would not have decided to leave the necropolis without his death?
Yes.
That is an absolutely understandable regret. And certainly a decision that would have had a lot of bearing on a lot of people's lives. Do you think you could have killed him? If you had stayed back? If you had tried to fight to the end?
I fought him once before. He caught me off guard, but now that I know how he fights, I do think that I could take him. But at the time, the more important thing seemed to be to get Inga away. I didn't know that the decision to just trap him rather than attempt to kill him outright would lead to her,
Well, Hektor, I can tell this is some very sensitive territory for you, and I want to thank you for your candor. Regrets like these can really eat someone from the inside out, so I hope you take some time to, really meditate on this and don't let it get you down, buddy. I'm sure you'll get them next time.
You're goddamn right I will.
Okay. I think I peed a little bit. That's fine. I'm safe with my friend Hektor. Okay. Well, it's been a pleasure, Hektor.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could just flex those muscles in a different direction, I would certainly appreciate it. I'm just gonna keep going. Thanks. Next up, last but not least, we've got Ruger Firehide, lawman extraordinaire. Ruger, how are you, sir? Pleasure to see you.
Well, Howdy, host. If I'm honest, I'm I'm a little nervous. It's it's kind of a weird vibe in the air today. Zurabak's running around ripping apart Roombas and yelling about dread gods, and Hektor seems really kind of angry and intimidating. What's going on, host?
Well, we've got another simple, straightforward, just right down the line question. Should just be off the top of the head, nothing crazy. If you could go back in your life and change one decision, what would that be?
Are you fucking kidding me, host? Fuck you, man. Like, fuck you. You're gonna... No.
I'm sorry, Ruger, I didn't expect this kind of reaction. Like, it's just a question.
There is no use looking down that... Don't you even... Listen, host. There's no value in pondering past choices. What can you do? You can't go back and change them. You can't go back and fix what you fucked up. Why bother talking about it?
Mr. Firehide, I guess I should say, I certainly did not mean to upset you. This is a very, very big question. I can understand that, and I'm sure a man with a long history and very tenuous situations like yourself has a lot of experiences that they may not want to relive. So I certainly apologize for that. I guess that's a completely acceptable answer. Not everyone needs to live in the past or live with regret. Though I'm curious.
Listen, all right. I understand why you're asking these kind of questions, and I'd be a liar if I said I didn't lay up at night thinking about this very fucking one. And look, man. Alright. If there were anything I would do differently, it would be the day that Grimm's Hollow burned. And, I'd been there. I'd have helped, and I'd have saved her. But I wasn't. And I can't. But that's my answer.
Well, that is certainly heavy, and I appreciate you finding the strength to deliver that answer. Grimm's Hollow, the town where you first became a sheriff, the town where you settled, and learned your trade, the town that was lost and led to you rambling.
Yeah.
Makes sense that would be a regret.
Yeah, you could say that. Fuck.
Well, obviously I've upset you, and I apologize for that. So, Sharon, can we get some chamomile? Can we get some chamomile for Ruger? Sharon? Maybe a tissue. I apologize. Next time we'll try to do something a little lighter. I know that a lot of these questions dig a little deep for you. But we appreciate your candor, and I hope this hasn't spoiled you on this segment as a whole. I'm sure our listeners enjoy the look into, your history. And,
you know what, host? Thank you for your time. Thank you for your service. I think I'm gonna go watch a cigarette slowly burn in my hand. Okay, great. Bye, buddy.
Okay. And that's gonna do it for As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast. Until next time, keep those dice turning. Yay! Hey there, dear listeners. Sam, the DM here, checking in with the credits at the end of the show. Thank you so much for listening to Challenge Rating Zero. We certainly appreciate your ears. Music for our little program is provided by the harp wolf Danielle Taylor Williams. You can find more of her work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. She has an album out called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change? You should check it out. It's a real banger. Additional music for the show comes from Justin Ra. You can check out more of his music at Justin Ra. That's justinra.com. He also has an album out called Age of the Spirit, which is also a real banger. If you'd like to reach out to us here at the show, you can email us at challengeratingzero@gmail.com. That's challengeratingzero@gmail.com. Feel free to send in questions for our As the Dice Turn segment. If you send a question in, we will read it on air and put the screws to our protagonist to answer your queries. You can follow us on Facebook at Challenge Rating Zero. We are on Instagram at Challenge Rating Zero, and you can follow us on Twitter at Challenge_ZERO. Various cast members are on Twitter as well. You can follow Beth at Dragon, the letter N, Distress. You can follow Brian at Dalabrak. You can follow Alex at AlexKlenke. And you can follow me at Your Humble Dungeon Master at Horace Kemp 3, HORUSKEMP 3. Couple things to plug here. If anyone out there is interested in playing some Dungeons and Dragons, you can head to samthedm.com, my personal website, and find out how to hire me to run a game for you and your friends. If you're in the St. Louis area, I can meet you face to face, and if you are not, we can use the plethora of digital tool sets available to get a game running. For those of you in the St. Louis area, I also run games at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge every Thursday and Saturday. If you'd like to come say hi, feel free to come out. I think that's it. Thank you so much for listening, folks. The next episode will be out in 2 weeks, which will be July 11th. Stay tuned and stay safe out there.